It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you, and welcome to the Science Bowl. Nice to have you here today, and we invite you to play along today. We have two T-initial teams, Templeton and Thomas Stone, playing in this elementary match. We're going to test their scientific literacy, and we invite you to play along and see how many questions you can get right, too, as we have these wonderful students demonstrate their science knowledge. We start out with 50 points apiece. They get that just for showing up and looking as good as they do. We have questions from 6 of our traditional categories, the same ones we've had for the past 35 years. And it's time to get started. Let's meet our first team. From Templeton Elementary School, would you please say hello to Simon? Hey, Simon, wave to everybody at home. He's a 5th grader. So Mary is here. So Mary, wave to everyone. Another 5th grader. Notice they're all wearing lab coats. Yeah, they're into the science theme here today. And the other S is Stephanie. Hey, Stephanie, another 5th grader is here, ready and able to play this game. All right, let's get started. We're going to go to the green things category. I have 3 questions for you, one worth 5, worth 15, one worth 25 points. Here's your 5-point question, Templeton. In Frozen, the movie, this root vegetable, a movable feature on Olaf's face, was always a temptation for Sven the reindeer.
Carrot.
Yeah. That reindeer, he wanted to munch that nose in the worst way. Yeah, Olaf, it was always all over the place. Good start, 5 points. Carrot. For 15 points, multiple choice. It takes fall leaves a long time to decompose. They fall off the tree in the fall. It takes a long time to decompose because they're made of a tough cellulose and another tough fiber called ligase, lignite, or lignin. A tough fiber that you find in leaves that makes them tough to decompose. Multiple choice. Ligase, lignite, or lignin. Which one sounds right? Think about the suffixes. That'll give you a clue. The second parts of the words. Ligase, lignite, or lignin. Talk among yourselves. Unmute yourselves so I can hear what you're saying.
We decided on lignin.
Lignin is absolutely correct. Absolutely. ASE tells is an enzyme, and ITE is an ore or a mineral. Perfect. Perfect so far. 25 points. I have a picture for you. It's a visual question. Have a look here, Templeton. Back in 1909, the U.S. Mint issued pennies with Lincoln's head on one side. It was Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday year. And stalks of this plant. You see them on either side. That plant, often associated with gluten today, was on the back. It was to symbolize the country's prosperity. Name that plant, which is an agricultural crop.
Grain?
Be more specific.
Oh, barley?
No, you missed that clue I gave you. I said it's associated today with gluten. Gluten is associated with wheat.
Yeah, so Mary said
wheat was the right answer there. So listen,
Wheat.
like I say, there are lots of clues in there. So we can't give you the points, but it was wheat there. Let's go to the zoo. Let's go to the zoo. When snakes all gather together for the winter, yeah, hundreds of them, they enter a sluggish state known as brumation, B-R-U-M-A-T-I-O-N, a condition similar to, but not as incapacitating as this behavior common to bears.
Hibernation.
Yeah, hibernation is right. Good. For 15 points in the zoo. It's been discovered, this is interesting, that deer can detect the color of laundry detergent on a hunter's clothing because the color receptors in the deer's eyes, known as these, are sensitive to blues that our eyes aren't. Name the color receptors in the eye of the deer. Rods are for black and white, What receptors are for color?
Do you think?
Oh, I have a question. Do we talk like
You can talk
in,
now
like,
among
this-
yourselves.
Okay, guys, so what do you think the answer is? Maybe like it's retinas? Or like pupils?
I'm not sure.
Okay, I'm gonna go with
That's-
I'm gonna go with retinas.
Okay, that's a good try there. Simon, correct answer there is cones, like a C-O-N-E-S. Rods help you see in black and white. Cones let you see in different colors. And deer have very acute cones, and they can pick up kinds of blues that we can't. Let's get this next one for 25 points. Two-part answer. All you have to do is get one. The two largest types of deer in North America have fraternal organizations, clubs, name for them. Can you give me either one of the two largest types of deer in North America, both of which have fraternal organizations, clubs named for them?
Maybe, guys, maybe like buck? Or
Do you guys think it's that? Remember the type of color?
Well, you know, I was thinking you might have told me reindeer or caribou, but the correct answers, the two that are named for clubs, are elk and moose. Elk and moose are the two largest deer in our country, in North America. All right, let's go to the Bodyy Systems. This is an interesting question for 5 points. If you're a mycologist, M-Y-C-O-L-O-G-I-S-T, you study fungus. But if you are a myologist, M-Y-O-L-O-G-I-S-T, you study these body parts that are so named because they reminded ancient people of mice running beneath the skin. Form that mental image. If there were mice running beneath your skin, that's what people thought these body parts were.
To unmute system.
what do you think? Maybe hair.
Oh.
Okay, maybe hairs. Oh, or wait, the most reasonable answer would probably be like bones. Or
What do you see happen when you exercise? What moves underneath your skin? Muscles. Muscles ripple and they bulge sometimes. You know, so people saw those and they thought, oh, there's some mice running under the skin. Those are the muscles. Let's go to 15 points. I hope this never happens to you. Maybe it did. If you fall onto a ball, like a beach ball, or if you get hit in the midsection with a football helmet, you can have the wind knocked out of you. That happens when this D, as in David, this D initialed muscle is momentarily paralyzed and you can't catch your breath. Name that D initialed muscle.
maybe diaphragm.
You got it. 15 points. Way to do it. Pat on the back. Diaphragm it is. Last question for you in this first round is a 25-pointer in Bodyy Systems. A child suffering from hydro, H-Y-D-R-O, cephalus, C-E-P-H-A-L-U-S, hydrocephalus, often requires surgery. That child literally has water on its what organ? Water on the what? Hydrocephalus.
I think it's like water. What did you say it was?
Okay. Can you
Think
maybe
about you have to take that word apart. The prefix and the
hydro-
suffix.
Okay.
Hydro, as I already gave, hydro is
So
water.
hydro. Wait, guys,
Cephalus.
you should
Cephalus.
C-E-
You guys know those suffix?
Okay, hydrocephalus probably
So we know hydro's water.
Wait, guys, we don't have enough time. We should think of
Okay.
something.
Correct answer there is water on the brain. On the brain. Cephalus refers to the head. like a cephalopod, like an octopus, that is dominated by the head. So you had some high points there. You came up with a couple good answers. You have 90 points. You're sitting good. We're going to see you in a couple minutes. I'll talk to you about yourself and your schools. You did a nice job. See you in a few moments. All right, it is now time to meet that team from Thomas Stone Elementary School. Would you please say hello to Damien? Hey, Damien, wave to everybody out there at home. Damien is a 4th grader. It looks like he's a safety patrol, too, so he's a real responsible student out there. Ivania waved to everybody. She is a 5th grader. Nice to have you here, Ivania. She's in the school library there. And also in the school library, last but not least, is Liliana. Hey, Liliana, another 5th grader. All right, they're ready and raring to go. So, Thomas Stone, let's get started. Here's the green things category. Here's your 5-point question. If you like to eat dried fruit, like dried bananas or dried pineapples, I like dried cherries. They're really good. They're good for you because they contain lots of fiber and potassium. But take it easy, since they also contain a lot of sugar. And therefore, they contain a lot of these that dieters watch and count. If you eat a lot of sugar, you're taking in a lot of these. If you're on a diet, you're trying to cut back on the number of these. Dieters like to watch and count these. Correct answer there is calories. The correct answer there is calories. They count calories. When you look at the side of a food box, it tells you right at the top how many calories is in that juice or in that milk or that cereal. Always read those things because you learn a lot of science there. Let's go to 15 points in green things. During pollination, we know pollination, sometimes it happens by wind, like with corn, or sometimes birds or insects will pollinate a plant. When that happens, the pollen is transferred to the male part of the flower called the anther, A-N-T-H-E-R. It goes from the anther to this female part of the flower that begins with the letter S. Hope you studied the flower as you prepared for this. Female part of the flower is this S initial term. Male part has the pollen, is the anther. So pollinators try to transfer it from the anther to this other one. Any idea?
Starts with an S.
Starts with an S. Yeah, that's important. Thank you, Ivania. That's important to remember. Correct answer there is the stigma. Stigma, S-T-I-G-M-A. Remember that. And sometimes you can artificially pollinate a flower. You can take some pollen from one plant, and then you can dust it onto the stigma, and it will cause it to produce seeds. All right, for 25 points, last question in the green thing category. This one is the tough one. Maybe you're going to get this one. Come on, let's get it. Let's get some points on the board. There is a fabric. You might have it on right now, called rayon, viscose rayon. It looks and feels like silk. Sometimes it feels like cotton. It's actually made from the fibers of this tough carbohydrate found in plant cell walls. It's the most abundant carbohydrate on Earth. If you studied cells, you know that plants don't have skeletons, but they do have cell walls. And the reason they're so rigid is because they contain this C initial kind of carbohydrate. It's a kind of sugar. It's called cellulose. Cellulose. Let's go to the zoo. You'll do better with the animals. Here we go. I like this question. During World War I, 194 American soldiers' lives were saved when one of these birds, known for its homing instincts, delivered a message through enemy lines.
What do you think? It's an eagle?
Maybe.
I hear eagle. I don't hear any suggestions at all from Liliana. Liliana, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking it's like an eagle or something.
She's thinking an eagle or something. How about you, Ivania? What are you thinking? Kind of bird. Imagine, this is a heroic bird. It flew through people shooting guns off, tanks shooting out mortars, because it had a homing instinct. It was going to try to deliver a message to the other Americans. Correct answer is a pigeon. It's called a homing pigeon. And if you go to the Smithsonian, I hope you go to the Smithsonian Museum one day, that pigeon, its name is Cher, C-H-E-R, Ami, my friend. Cher Ami is stuffed, and it is in there. It's an American hero. 15 points, zoo. Vultures, hyenas, and Komodo dragons are animals that can eat dead animals, they can eat diseased animals, they can eat decaying animals, and never get sick. Don't you try that. They don't get sick because their stomachs have more of this substance than ours, meaning any bacteria they swallow get killed off. They have more what in their stomach than we do, so they can eat dead things.
Acid.
Acid, you got it, good. Pat on the back, pat on the back, everybody. Pat on the back, everybody, 15 points, good. All right, let's get this next one, it's worth 25 points. In the zoo, let's show you a picture, a visual question for you, Thomas Stone. This is a coral reef. And you see those little things that pop out like flowers? Those are the polyps. They are in the coral reef, and they depend on the algae who live with them for food. So you got algae and you got polyps. The algae benefit from the protection of the coral. So this relationship between the polyps and the algae, since both benefit, is known as this kind of relationship. They both win.
I think it's
Ivania?
Well,
I know you've heard this word before. I bet your teacher has brought it up. Anytime two different species work together because they both get something out of it, like ants. Ants will protect a plant because the plant maybe gives it something to eat in return. It's called symbiosis. Symbiosis. Remember that. All right, let's go to the body systems. Oh, this is kind of a creepy question. When ancient Egyptians, hey, you guys know what mummies are, right? Mummies? Yeah. When those ancient Egyptians, they would get a dead body. They would embalm it, preserve it to make a mummy. They threw away the brain. They thought it was useless. Imagine that. They thought the brain was useless. But they took great care to keep this organ, which they thought was the center of all intelligence and emotion. They left that in the body because they thought that the mummy might need it in the afterlife. They threw away the brain, but they kept the what?
the heart.
the heart?
The heart, absolutely right. They made sure that that heart was in the mummy. Yeah, good, you got it. For 15 points, 15 points in body system. If you have a sore throat, you know what that's like, or an infection in other parts of your body, sometimes you'll notice you get a swelling in your armpits or in your neck. Something's swelling up. Your immune system is kicking in. This L-initialed body system helps out. This L-initialed system has glands and nodes and helps your immune system, is part of your immune system to fight infection. What is that L-initialed body system called?
Um,
Come on, I know you know it.
the lungs.
I like that. It does begin with an L. Lungs, your lungs are important, but to fight off infection, you need something called lymph. L-Y-M-P-H, the lymphatic system, lymph. Last question for you in 25 points. You know, we're still in the midst of this COVID-19 pandemic. You know, when people suffering from COVID-19, a lot of them were found to bleed more easily. than people without COVID. That was the result, with the result that more of these were found inside their bodies, these things that are formed by the blood's platelets. You know, if you cut yourself, you don't bleed to death because your platelets form what? I know you get scabs over a wound, but what keeps that blood from continuing to flow? The platelets, they form these. And they were finding these all throughout the body of COVID-19 victims.
Finding these.
They were called clots. Clots, your blood clots. Your blood clots. That's what your platelets do. So, you know, anytime you nick yourself and you're bleeding and it stops, you know, if your nose is bleeding, clots by the platelet. All right, you got 70 points. You got a couple good answers there. And Damien, we're going to give you a break now. You're the quarterback. When you take the break, you get Liliana and Ivania and say, all right, team, when we come out in the second half, we're going to do this. We're going to knock them dead. All right, it's time to welcome back that team from Templeton. Let's find out a little bit about the players. They all look like scientists, and I imagine some of them want to be scientists. Let's find out about that. Let's talk to the captain first. Let's go to Damien. Hey, Damien, Simon. Simon, tell me a little bit about why you wanted to be on the Science Bowl.
I wanted to be on the Science Bowl because I just really want to have a good time, and I was on the Science Bowl last year, so I just wanted to do it again.
And yes, and you were here last year on Zoom as well, and I was hoping last year when I saw you that would be back in the studio, but we're still in this pandemic. Let's hope we're just about at the end. You're a great player. What do you want to do when you get older? You're all dressed like scientists, and I was just saying maybe some of you want to go that direction. What would you like to do?
I would like to be a game developer and make games for people to play, because I like entertaining people, and it just seems like a way to express your creativity.
Absolutely right. I love it. You had a great way of expressing yourself. And games and entertainment are important. You know, I'm hooked on Wordle right now. You know, every day I got to do my Wordle, you know, but see, because you're just playing against yourself. But games are important, and a lot of young people are into that these days. Good luck in the second half. Let's talk to your teammates. Let's go and find out, how about Solmary, the other S, the second of the three S's. Solmary, why'd you want to be on the Science Bowl? We're glad you chose to do it.
Well, I wanted to learn more about science, and I wanted to show what I know about science, and I thought it would be a good experience.
All those are perfect reasons. I couldn't have said that better myself, because we want to know what you know. We want you to leave with some additional information. And also, we just want you to have a good time. We just want you to have a very good time. Dress like a scientist? Want to be a scientist someday? Or what are your thoughts?
Well, not exactly, but I would like to be a baker or an actor. I really like to bake cakes, and I think it would be nice to show acting feelings and stuff.
Wow. Being a chef is, chef dress is almost identical to what you've got. Of course, he wears a toque, or she wears a toque, and there's a lot of chemistry, there's a lot of science in baking and cooking, and you probably discovered that, you know, if you try to cheat with the recipe, you're going to pay the price. You know, it's listed because it's there for a reason. You're a wonderful young lady. Nice to have you here today. Good luck in the second half. Let's talk to Stephanie. Hey, Stephanie. Nice to have you on the show today. What brings you to us? Did Miss Lynch recruit you?
Yeah.
She's got the giggles. Just tell me, just relax. Just there's no harm in having some fun here. Tell me what you're thinking about doing someday.
Someday I'd like to be a psychiatrist, because I'm really interested on how certain emotions can affect the human mind.
Oh my goodness, that's you'll never come to the end of the study of psychiatry, because all of us are complicated people. That's what makes us interesting. Each one of us is different. And I wish you luck in that, and I wish you luck in the second half here. All right, let's go to the Let's Get Physical category. I've got 3 questions for you. And if you're ready, here we go, Templeton. Let's Get Physical for 5 points is a visual question. Wait till you see this. This is not a figment of someone's imagination. This is an unusual barrel eye fish. Because light can easily pass through the dome on this fish's head, it is like the glass cockpit of a jet fighter in which light passes through unimpeded. Meaning, it is what? If light can easily pass through something, it is known as this.
See-through or
See-through?
transparent?
Yeah, see-through, maybe.
See-through, give me another term.
Or transparent?
Transparent.
Transparent, perfect, good, 5 points. That's what I want to hear. Let's get physical for 15. When a sedimentary rock, like limestone, changes into marble, it becomes this kind of rock, a term that is similar to the process of a caterpillar going through to become a butterfly.
Larva.
I remember this one. Metamorphic.
Metamorphosis.
Yeah, metamorphic. Rock. Yeah.
Metamorphic is correct, yes. And yes, metamorphosis was the other term that it was very similar to. Perfect, you're on a roll. 2, let's go for 3 in a row. The superheated water that bursts forth from geysers like Old Faithful in Yellowstone Park results because underneath is molten rock, magma, that produces this kind of heat that vaporizes the water. What do we call that heat that is produced underground?
Yeah, guys, let's discuss. So, for instance, this heat underground. So maybe steam?
Well, it produces steam because it heats the water down there.
Okay.
Stephanie, what do you think?
Yeah, Stephanie.
I'm not really sure.
Two-part word, and when I tell it to you, it'll make sense. You'll go,
Carbon?
geothermal. Geothermal. Geo is the land, and thermal is the heat. A number of our schools, green schools in this county, have geothermal heat. It comes from the ground. All right, let's go to the potpourri. If you're like me, I like the comics, and one of my favorites is Garfield, that cat that just eats and eats and eats. Garfield, the cartoon cat that really likes to eat, recently looked at a batch of cookie dough about to be baked. All right, so Mary, you can identify with this. You've got this cookie dough about to be baked, and he thought, boy, this is like this stage in an insect's metamorphic development when it could develop into something else. What's that stage called?
Yeah, guys, let's unmute and talk.
What do you?
So it's like one of the stages before it's turning into something else. So
Before it becomes an adult, before it becomes a real baked cookie, the cookie dough is like what metamorphic stage in an insect's development? Say it again.
Cocoon?
Larva?
Oh, larva.
Larva, that's it. He
Yes.
said it was he likened it to a larva. Good. I like how you're sharing ideas and you're thinking together. Perfect. For 15 points, you'll get this one. While telescopes and periscopes are used for looking above, if you want to see bacteria or viruses, you have to look under a what scope?
Microscope?
A microscope. That's right, a microscope. All right, potpourri for 25. You've heard this in the news. It is thought that COVID-19 will at some point pass from being a pandemic, seems to be passing that way now, to being one of these E-initialed kinds of diseases, like the flu, that is regularly found and one we just learned to live with. Not pandemic.
Epidemic?
It's
Epidemic.
Say it again.
Epidemic? Epidemic.
Ah, I thought you might go that way. An epidemic is what can turn into a pandemic if it moves around the world. It is called endemic. E-N-D-E-M-I-C. An endemic disease is one that is just here all the time and we just learn to live with it, develop defenses. All right, you're still doing well. All right, last 3 questions. Dateline for 5 points. Imagine this. There is a fake conspiracy group of Generation Z people. They call themselves Birds Aren't Real. They say birds, get this, they're really these tiny unmanned aircraft invented by the government to fly around and spy on us Americans.
Drones.
Yes, they say birds are really drones. Now that's a conspiracy theory, right? Just think the canary in your house is spying on you. All right, for 15 points, let's show 15 points. One of the most important discoveries ever in science was finding something called Archaeopteryx, a creature that showed the evolutionary link between reptiles and birds. This thing looked like it was part bird, part reptile. It had wings and feathers, like birds do, but it had two other features that are more typically associated with reptiles. Can you give me one other feature that that bird reptile had that made it more reptilian than avian?
Scales?
Scale, you think?
Scales, maybe?
What else do reptiles have?
Okay, scales.
Let me just remind you again, Archaeopteryx had wings and feathers, but what other features made it more reptile-like? Give me one of the two.
Yeah, so it's not scales.
Yeah.
But,
Somewhere you're muted. By the way.
It's not
So
scale.
scale.
Okay, so maybe claws.
Yeah.
Got it. Claws is right, and also teeth. Claws and teeth. Here's your 25-point question in DATELINE, so don't relax quite yet. Stay with me. Traveling into space recently aboard a Blue Origin's rocket was the oldest daughter of this first S-initialed American ever to fly in space back in 1962. First American to fly into space was this man. Just recently, his daughter, he is long since deceased, traveled on one of those rockets that went up and down and for 15 minutes from Blue Origins. Can you name that S-initialed astronaut for 25 points?
S initial.
Guys, yeah, so S initialed. What names? Maybe,
Someone.
okay, so
There's an astronaut. It started with an S.
Shelly, no,
Shelley?
no, that's somebody in the, okay.
A lot of people know John Glenn and Neil Armstrong, but a lot of us forget that the first spaceman from America was Alan Shepard. Shepard was his name. So just file that away. You're very young, and certainly you wouldn't remember that. I thought perhaps you might have come across it. But you earned a lot of points. You're ending the game with 150 of them. That's great. Let's see if that gets you into the next round. We'll see you guys in a couple minutes. Nice work. All right, we welcome back that team from Thomas Stone, and they spent the time out here getting their signals together so they can answer the questions here in the second round. Let's find out about our players. First, let's talk to Damien. Damien's a fourth grader. You know, we have students on Science Ball as old as 8th grade in the middle school competition. Occasionally we've had 3rd graders and very few 4th graders. So you are a special guy being here in the 4th grade. I hope to see you for many years to come. We want to see you grow up in front of us here. Why'd you want to do this, Damien?
Because I thought, hey, I like science. I like competitions a bit, and, you know, it sounds fun, so why not?
I love it. You got great spunk and spirit, and again, why not? And we hope you're having fun. And like I say, just by being here, you guys win because your principal and your coach decided that you were good representatives of the school, and they really thought you were terrific. We think you're terrific. What do you want to do someday? I know you're very young. Have you thought about that yet?
A little bit. I've been thinking maybe some small bit of animation, maybe some chemistry, you know, the usual.
It's way too early to say for sure, and I like your attitude. There's so many choices out there. You're going to have so many experiences. Who knows which one might be the one that says, hey, that's what I want to do in life. We hope this is an experience you always remember too, even though you're very young. Let's talk to your teammates there. Let's talk to Avanya. Hey, Avanya. Nice to have you on the show here today. And obviously you've read a lot of books, like the ones I see in back of you there at the library. Do you like to read?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, reading is important. What else? What do you like to do in your spare time?
I just listen to music.
You listen to music, yeah. Well, and have you thought about a career yet? Because you're in the 5th grade. Yeah.
I think I would like to be like a musician, like an artist in a musician way, or like an author.
Very good, very good. Well, do you play a musical instrument? What do you play?
I'm learning to play the guitar.
Wow, wow. So maybe you can form a group, a musical group at some point there, you know. And musicians, a lot of times I think they're born, you know, you have a musical talent. So I wish you a lot of luck. Let's talk to Liliana. Hey, Liliana, nice to have you on the show, another fifth grader here. Tell me, what is it you like best about Thomas Stone Elementary? You know, it's been rough, you know, during the pandemic, but you got a great teacher, you got a great principal there. What do you like about the school?
What I like about the school is like the staff. They're like very nice and they're very kind. I like the school because I've been here for like 8 years already.
Wow, that's wonderful. And what a nice tribute, because if the teachers aren't nice and kind and looking out for you, there's no reason to go there. So it's a special place. And I see you're a safety patrol as well. So you're a responsible young person. So keep up that responsibility and keep challenging yourself like you're doing by being here today. Good luck in the second half. All right, Thomas Stone, it's time for your last 9 questions. Are you ready? Yeah, all right. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Good, here we go. All right, Damien, let's lead the charge here. Let's get physical for 5 points. Because the chemical bonds of this are so tight, it's super hard, sometimes brittle, has a very high melting point, all of which makes it the world's hardest mineral, and is said to be a girl's best friend.
Diamonds?
Diamonds are a girl's best friend, indeed. Yes, indeed. Got you 5 points. That's the way to start that second half. All right, 15 points, and let's get physical. 3 answers. I know you know more. Each one of you, try to get one of these. When the universe was created, the only chemical elements in existence were the ones with these initials, capital H. The other one, capital H, small e. And the last one was capital L, small I. The first 2 are gases. The last one is, we recognize it because it's a kind of battery we use in our smartphones and just about everything else we have. H, He, and Li. Get all 3 of these chemical elements. All right, Damien, go.
The second one, helium?
You got it. The second one's helium. All right, Liliana, pick one. Which one are you going to give me, Li or H?
H.
All right, what does H stand for? What gas?
Hydrogen?
You got it, hydrogen. All right, Evanya, it's up to you. What is Li?
Light?
Oh, lithium. Lithium batteries are the ones that we use. That's why, you have to be careful. For a while, you weren't allowed to take them on airplanes because they were overheating and exploding. All right, let's go to 25 points. How many of you watched some of the Olympics? Did you watch any of the Olympics?
Yes.
Yeah, I like the bobsledders. They jump in the bobsled and they run as fast as they can. They jump in and off they go. Well, those bobsledders were illustrating Newton's second law of motion, which says that the force going down that path is equal to the mass, the guys inside, times A. A stands for what? Which is often confused with velocity. A, speed. What does that A stand for? Force equals mass times A.
Wait, no. Liliana?
Acceleration. Mass is for acceleration. They accelerate down there because, the more speed they get at the outset, the faster they can accelerate and they'll reach their peak velocity. Let's go to potpourri for 5 points. I like this question. It wasn't that chimpanzee used a wrench or a saw or a shovel. But when that chimpanzee in Africa was seen stripping the leaves off a twig, took a twig, picked all the leaves off, then he took that twig, spit on it, stuck it in a hole in a tree, fished around, and pulled out a whole string of termites, ate them all. That was the first time it was ever seen that an animal could make and use one of these.
What do you guys think?
A shovel, a saw, a wrench, those are all examples of what?
Shovel because he's picking up.
Tools?
Tools is right, yes. Tools is correct. That animal made a tool. Perfect. All right, let's go to 15 points. This is strange, but you'll get this. Before scientists learned to ban birds and thus be able to follow them where they went, it was long thought that when the weather got cold, birds hibernated. Get that. Some thought birds flew to the moon or even changed into other species, when in fact, when the weather got cold, what did the birds do?
They flew to warmer places.
And what's that called?
Migration.
Migration is right. Yes, you got 2 in a row. 5, 15, let's go for 25. Here we go. You're on a roll. Multiple choice. If you cut yourself and there's no antibiotic cream, no Band-Aid, nothing around, and you want to keep that wound from being infected, one of the best things you can cover it with is sugar, mayonnaise, or flour. And don't just guess. Think about which one would help to keep that wound from getting infected with bacteria.
I feel like
Okay, Ivania, what do you think? Pick one.
Mayonnaise?
She's picking mayonnaise. Liliana, you could pick mayonnaise too if you want. Sugar, mayonnaise, or flour. Keep that wound from getting infected.
I'm gonna do mayonnaise this one.
Mayonnaise as well. Damien, how about you?
mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise. All right. Correct answer is sugar. Sugar. That's why honey is very good, and that's why you can keep a jar of jelly forever and ever, and it doesn't get moldy because sugar keeps bacteria from growing. Dateline science. All right, I need a number. 5 points. Boy, in the last 200 years, are we lucky to live today? Because of medical improvements like vaccines, garbage collection, indoor plumbing so we have clean water, the lifespan in America has gone from just 35 years. Most people only live for 35 years. To today, our lifespan is almost how many years? To the closest decade. So a decade is like 10, 20, 30. The lifespan today in America, because of all the improvements, is closer to what decade? Okay.
40.
Talk.
I
Okay.
feel like
I hear 40.
60 or 70, something like that.
I'm thinking
Something
40
like-
because 35 is closest to 40.
Well, then again, 35 can go either direction because it's the middle of a 10. So,
It's either 30 or 40.
Maybe.
Are you telling me that most people today only can live to age 30 or 40?
Or maybe like 90 or 70, somewhere up there.
Okay, you have to give me a number. Give me a specific number. All right, Damien, pick one.
60.
Okay, correct answer is 80. Our average lifespan is 78.8 years, so we have a lot of extra years ahead of us, we hope. 15 points, Dateline. The Austrian monk Gregor Mendel, he grew pea plants famously, and he saw that the color and the size of the pea plants was passed on from one generation to the next. Pink ones had pink ones, white ones had white ones. Because of that work on inheritance, he's considered the father of this G initialed branch of science. G as in giraffe. Study of inheritance. What is that G initialed science called?
Geographic?
Not geographic, that's a good try.
What do you think?
Genetics. Genetics. The genes are the things we pass along from one generation to the next. Last question of the game of visual, let's have a look. 25 points, the newest space telescope, the James Webb. Here it is, it's amazing. That mirror, that yellow mirror, folded up and they opened it up like an origami. When it was launched last December, it promised to see much farther into the universe than the Hubble telescope that it replaced ever did. But unlike the Hubble, which detected visible light, this James Webb detects this kind of radiation that we know as heat.
Thermal radiation?
That's a good try. That's a good try. Give me another name. Good try.
The sun.
Think about there's a spectrum. We can see visible light, but on either side, there are kinds of light that we can't see, but some creatures can. We know it is heat. Think about a snake. A snake can see this.
Visual.
Say it again.
Visual.
Not visual. It's called infrared. Infrared. Infrared is what we know as heat. And when you go into somebody and they're using those thermometers, they hold it up, they want to see if you're running a fever. Those are infrared thermometers. They're picking up heat. Which means, Thomas Stone, you end the game with 95 points. 95 points. Will that be enough? We'll let you know in just a moment. All right. Nice game, guys. All right. We hope you enjoyed today's game. The two T's, Thomas Stone and Templeton. And we had some tough questions, but equally tough competitors. And, the captain of the one team, as you saw, just a fourth grader. Lots of time to demonstrate his scientific knowledge in the years to come. We have people from all over. We've got Templeton. We have Miss Lynch. She is out there today, the wonderful coach who made sure that they were all wearing those lab coats today. We also have out there, I hope Principal Ebony Harris is joining us. And in addition to Simon and Solmary and Stephanie, we have a number of alternates, Giovanni, Anselm, and Crystal, if they're with us today. Wave to everybody. And to Thomas Stone, Coach Ford, working hard to get you guys ready. Mr. Hintz is the principal, and Damien, Ivania, Liliana, and two alternates, Chidira and Muhammad. You're out there. We appreciate it. Our final tally today is Thomas Stone 95, Templeton 150, and congratulations to everybody. Everybody clap, please, for each other because you did a nice job. This is not easy. Other than Damien, or Simon, rather, you haven't done this before. So it was a first-time experience. We hope you had some fun. Hope you learned something. And what we learned about each of you is that you're great students, that you're willing to take a challenge, and that you have a lot of poise, because it's not easy to sit here and do this. Congratulations to you all, and we hope to see you next time when you come back, maybe here in the studio. We hope to see you next time on another edition of the Science Bowl. Until then, I'm Dave Zarin. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.